Hi everybody, Reese Counts with Autoblog. Today I'm here with the 2018 Subaru BRZ TS. So, yeah, this is the fastest, most powerful, well, they're all the same powerful. This is the fastest, sportiest version of the BRZ, and of course the, whatever you want to call it, the Toyota 86, the Scion FRS, the GT86, whatever name you want to use for this platform. The TS has been tuned by STI, the Subaru Technical Institute, Subaru Sport Division. They do the WRX, STI. Yeah, you can see with the pink, reddish pink, the TS badge. There's some STI badges. There's only 500 of these coming to the US. Which is pretty exciting. So it's got Brembo brakes, Michelin Pilot Sport tires. It's got retuned suspension with Sachs dampers, a bunch of little stuff. Visually, you can tell the side skirts and the front lip. Of course, all the red that I mentioned. And then, of course, this, frankly, kind of overwrought carbon fiber rear wing. I'm not the biggest fan of it, though it does actually add some performance. It is adjustable. If you get under here, you can see there's two little spaces for screws where you can adjust the angle of it. We haven't played with it at all because I'm not taking it to a track, so it doesn't matter. Like the 86, like the standard BRZ, it's powered by a 2-liter flat 4 making 205 horsepower and 156 pound-feet of torque. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but the car doesn't weigh that much. Like the Miata, like say the Volkswagen GTI, this is a real momentum car. A lot of people complain that, oh, it needs more power, oh, it needs more power. I'm actually pretty happy with the power it is. I wouldn't turn it down, another 20, 30 horsepower, but I actually kind of like the balance of the car as it sits. The BRZ is one of my favorite cars on the market right now. It's one of the first cars I really had some time to open up on a track, open up on some good roads, and it teaches you a lot about driving. But enough of me talking. Let's fire it up and go for a ride.
Thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you have any questions. Type them out in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Kind of funky. You got a little STI badge here. Right here on the trim.
So, as you can see inside, there's a number of red accents to differentiate the TS from other models. We've got red on the shifter, red seat belts, red on the seats, and some other little things. One thing I do particularly like is the STI and the engine start stop. Red on the bottom of the steering wheel. The gauge cluster is just the same, but you do get the STI logo up here. So tachometer in the center, just what you want. You can play around with the instruments over here on the side. I'm gonna leave the digital instruments up there. So yeah, it's it looks the same as most other BRZs. There was an update for I think 2017, new steering wheel, some better materials in here, but it's the same as it really always has been. But that's okay. This is an affordable car. I'm not expecting world-class materials, but I do like the overall design. And really what the important thing is the seating position. It is really, really good. Visibility is excellent. I love that you can see kind of the humps from the front wheels. Because the engine is flat, it sits lower. You don't have the you don't have the hood having to sit high. The steering position's great, the shifter's great, the pedals are really awesome for heel toe. The only thing that really ruins it is with the TS, you've got the wings sticking out of the back that you can kind of see. But that's...
You can definitely see that.
But it's roomy, Michael. You've got...
No, absolutely.
You've got headroom for the most part.
Yeah, I got my seat all the way down and I got it all the way back, and
once we come back, I'll pop the hood, pop the trunk. Like, this is actually like a fairly usable car. The Miata is great. I mean, that's arguably its biggest competitor, but
I find that to be.
It's a little more claustrophobic.
Yeah.
It is a little lighter on its feet. Everything feels a little heavier in the BRZ, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It takes a little more effort. The steering's a little heavier, but it communicates well. This chassis, whether it's the BRZ, whether it's the 86, this chassis is so good. Few cars at like any price point really kind of communicate what they're doing quite like these do. If you're on a track, if you're on a good road, you can really feel the rear end breakout, and it's so easy to control. I really dig this car, guys.
So speaking of the 86, this is a shared car between Toyota and Nissan?
Subaru.
Subaru, sorry.
Yeah, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, it's co-developed between Toyota and Subaru. It's got, it's arguable like who spent most of it. It's obviously got a Subaru engine because of the flat 4. Chassis development, a lot of it was done by both of them, but yeah, it's a shared platform, but there are suspension tunings. Even from the beginning, the Subaru was a little softer. I actually always preferred the tuning of the Subaru. I like the softer rear end. It's a little more forgiving. It was always a little more expensive, but it had some nicer materials in there. But I mean, it really wasn't that big of a deal. But of the two, I always preferred the BRZ, but the 86 is still really good, and more like a little more affordable. So if you're gonna like throw some money at it and retune the suspension anyway, if you're gonna put some power on it, yeah, I mean the 86 might be the one to go to, just because I think there's more of them out there, and they were cheaper to begin with. What do you guys think? Do you guys like these? Do you guys prefer the Miata? Do you guys just not care about these at all? I would totally spend my money on one. In fact, like, I've followed prices pretty heavily, and I think in a few years from now, like, I might try to pick one up secondhand as a nice weekend, nice track car. Unfortunately, living in Michigan, you really can't take as good advantage of it as I would like. It's not a great Michigan car. Alex Kirstein, one of our senior editors, first time he drove it was when he was still living here in Michigan. Didn't care for the car. Then he said he drove it after he moved back to Seattle on some really good roads, and that's where it really comes alive. Day to day, it's a little rough. It's a little coarse, and it just, I don't know. You can't take advantage of the chassis, the power, and the just general balance of it. The driving position for this is phenomenal. The shifter is really slick. And yes, the engine, it's not the most powerful, and yes, it does have that power dip in the middle, but the gearing is short, so if you keep the revs up, you're in the power band anyway. It's like any car like this. You just gotta keep the momentum going. Keep it. Don't slow down. The gearing kind of makes up for it, and that's fine. I don't know. I'm not on the bandwagon where everybody says this needs a turbocharger. I honestly don't think it does. I'm not going to turn down a little more power, but I like the engine as it stands. I like the balance this car has. I even like the tires on the standard model. The TS, what we're in, has the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, which are excellent tires. I mean, I love pretty much everything that Michelin does as far as like performance or summer tires. But even the standard ones are kind of like an eco summer tire. Feel really balanced to the car. Yes, you can get the like ass end to kind of slide out a little, but that's what makes it so fun. If you're throwing more power on there, yes, throw some bigger tires, but there's nothing wrong with a little less grip. But you can kind of make it wiggle. Oversteer is always great. And like I said, the pedals are really like well spaced for heel toe. I love the steering. The steering wheel is small diameter. It's quick on center. For an electric rack, it's got a decent amount of feedback. A lot of that is the tires and the suspension setup, but I don't know. It just, everything about this car. Really, guys, on the right road, few cars are as fun as like the BRZ or the FRS or the 86. Yeah, I had a few years ago, I had an opportunity to take this and the ND Miata out back to back. And I was with a former coworker, and we were swapping cars back and forth. And you really get to feel the differences between the two. And as much as I love the Miata, like, I just felt the BRZ was a little sharper. Wasn't quite as light on its feet, but it was still really good. You guys have any questions for me? Anything like?
Joseph says, been taking a second look at Subaru, really great quality control.
The build quality has always been pretty good. I mean, the materials they do look and feel a little cheap, but that's fine. I'm not expecting like world-class stuff in a car that, this one's $35,000, but you don't need to buy the TS. You can get this car like under $30,000. You can get used ones under $20,000, and that is like,
yeah, that's pretty good.
It's good, and it's such a fun car. I mean, you're dealing with Toyota and Subaru build quality, so like, yeah, it is pretty excellent. Yeah, it's just really good. I don't care for the TS. I mean, I'm not a big enough Subaru fan to like die over the limited edition. I don't care about the wing. I do like the suspension setup. I do like some of the visual touches. I like the red accents and stuff, and pretty much everything outside of the wing. But I would just take like a standard BRZ and be happy with it. In fact, like I said, in a few years, I might pick up one of these. I might pick up a Miata, just something fun on the weekend. It's such like a good momentum.
Speaking of Miata,
yeah, nice NC right there. It's a really good day to be out like that. It says it's 86, but it feels a little cooler. I think there's a breeze out. Yeah, guys, I dig this thing a lot.
So with the BRZ, you can get the wing on that, or you...
there's like a small like spoiler, not the big like carbon wing like this. I don't care for either. I think it looks really like great, like pretty clean. That's one thing I do appreciate about the 86 is that the lines are just a little cleaner, though I don't really care for the new nose. I have always preferred the front bumper on the BRZ, but it's doesn't change performance, so it's kind of an aesthetic thing. Yeah, the wing's fine. It's just not my thing. I like the lines to be just a little cleaner. But like I said, this one's adjustable, and it does provide some like actual downforce, which is pretty cool. But we're gonna park it and we're gonna have another little walk around. I'll show you some of the STI accents. I'll pop the hood and show you some of the upgrades under there as far as suspension. Like I said, there's no changes between the standard car and the TS when it comes to the 2-liter flat 4. Still makes 205 horsepower and 156 pound-feet of torque. So, this is the 2-liter flat 4. Of course, it's a Super engine. I really do like the red plenum. It's a little, actually it's not as hot as I thought it would be. Here you can see the V-brace. It says STI on it. I don't know if you guys can see it in the light, but right here and right here it says STI. And these are changed on the TS. Some other changes, of course. The wheels, tires, and brakes. We've got the Brembo brakes. We've got the STI wheels and the Michelin Pilot Sport 4 summer tires. They're sticky, but they still provide like a little bit of grip, slip, which is kind of what I love about this car. Of course, the rear wing, you see the STI badge, though this is still not like an true STI car. I guess because there's no performance like power upgrades, but you get the TS logo. So one thing I'm just going to show you, it's not very deep, but the trunk is still pretty spacious, and of course the rear seats do fold flat, which is awesome. Another thing, did you get a spare? It's a donut, but the fact that you get any spare in a sports car nowadays is pretty excellent. Somebody's got a tuned NB Miata driving up the road. I like the white paint too. It's kind of nice, like a pearlescent color. But any more questions? All right, I'll fire it up and then we'll call it. Alright guys, Reese Counts for the Autoblog with the 2018 Subaru BRZ TS. Thanks for watching.